What's up, everyone? Ben Wigman here, field agronomist for Beck's Hybrids in Southern Illinois. Today I'm at our Effingham PFR location where I just wanted to bring us a few updates on the wheat crop as we think about maybe the next week and a half to 2 weeks potentially, but then also some planning considerations. So first off, starting out with the wheat here, I'm standing in front of our new wheat trials here where we are looking at different rates and different timings of sulfur application in the spring here. So with those two different nitrogen applications, we're looking at different rates of sulfur. And then down on the end, we're actually looking at what advantages do we have if we add a quart of a 10% boron in with a Harmony Palisade application around those nitrogen applications, or what happens if we hold off with that quart of boron closer to that fungicide application for head scab, things like that. So really excited to see how these trials progress, things like that. Out here in this trial, we're sitting at about that feet 7. We're starting to see some of those last leaves come out, but I know as we move south of here, closer to Mount Vernon and south of there, that flag leaf is coming out, which with that flag leaf coming out means that head is going to be close behind. And I wouldn't be surprised here in about 2 weeks if we could see those heads out to where we could start applying fungicide for that head scab application. My go-to recommendation on fungicides for head scab with wheat is that Mirvis. I like the flexibility of the timing that we can get when we go out there early, 50% head emergence with the Mirvis product. Something that I am also recommending, similar to corn and beans, is adding boron in. For this year's crop, let's add a 10% boron to that head scab application to try to fill out those kernels, aid in that reproduction process as we move forward out here. I would say as a whole with this wheat crop, we are about a week and a half to 2 weeks ahead of schedule here, progressing forward with this wheat crop out here. So be on the lookout for those heads to start to pop out with that fungicide application in the near future. Now, we think about corn and soybeans out here. I know it may be tempting to want to go and plant out there, which there are some guys that have planted out there, which is great, but the conditions were fit when those guys were planting. And I know we may get into a little bit of a wet pattern here, but there's one thing that I want to drive home to be very, very important is, even though we may want to get out in the field, the number one thing that we need to keep in mind is make sure conditions are adequate. We don't want to go a day too early, 2 days too early. Make sure those conditions are adequate. As most of us know, when we think about the corn crops that we've raised in the past couple of years, the best corn crop has been planted end of May, maybe even into June in some scenarios. It's extremely important to get that corn crop up out of the ground consistent and make sure it doesn't endure any stress. The soybeans, they can obviously endure a little bit more stress like we've seen in past couple of years, but we still need to make sure those soil conditions are in good condition. That way we limit any potential for lack of nutrient uptake or water uptake because we have sidewall compaction, things like that. By all means, if you guys have any comments, suggestions, questions, want me to come look at anything, feel free to reach out to myself and I'd be glad to help. With that, thanks and have a great day.